After working with thousands of sales reps, did you know that over 60% of them, based on who we talked to, said that holding a prospect's attention was the biggest obstacle in a sales call? Today, we are going to go over the real sales psychology on how to fix that. Let's go. So for those of you that don't know me, I've been selling products without actually knowing the product for years. In fact, I put a bunch of those videos here on my YouTube channel, and next month I'm actually going to upload one where I was at a live event in front of 42 of our clients and actually live closed a deal or advanced the deal in front of 42 people for a product in an industry that I've never sold before. So it's more so less about questions and what to ask, and more so meeting the prospects where they are and developing the active listening skill to unpack those things when they're asking them. So this poses a question: what makes a pitch or presentation or sales call truly land with the prospect? This isn't about the script. This is about the psychology and the strategy of how you approach using the script in a sales call. Because let's get clear, you need a script, you need a framework. If you notice in any of my live closing videos, or even now, like, I still keep a script on me, mainly because I'm human, and humans get distracted by things all the time, whether it be external stuff in your life or it be right now, like maybe in your current life or in the sales call, maybe a text message pops up, whatever. So it's important to keep the script or framework up in front of you. So here's what I've noticed more times than not, right? With sales reps on sales calls, with calls we review, or calls in our school, things like that. Most sales reps over talk and under listen. They talk themselves out of the deal and they don't meet the prospect where they are by active listening to the prospect. That's a skill in itself, being able to make sure the prospect knows you are not just hearing them, but really listening to them. And this happens all the time too, because sales reps are so focused on using a script and asking questions in the order on the script that they forget to be able to pivot away from the script, unpack something, which is like meeting the prospect where they are based on the thing that they're currently thinking about and feeling and prioritizing, meeting them where they are, addressing that thing, unpacking it, isolating what you need to, make things non-issues, and then come back to the script and follow your question stack of whatever's on the script. And in this way, you'll know, okay, I don't need to ask that question because actually I already got that information. So I'm just going to reiterate the information I got back to the prospect. So this way they know I was actually listening. The next thing I see sales reps do all the time that kills their deals is they're constantly leading with features and benefits rather than leading with the actual emotional drivers of what they're going to use to make the decision. We've all heard the old adage, right? People buy on emotion and justify with logic. So many sales reps though are so focused on, I have the best product because, you know, they're bought into the company Kool-Aid or whatever, that they think that they lead with the product and the features and the benefits of those features for their product, that the prospect is also going to be equally bought into that Kool-Aid when they're not, right? They're shopping around to other people. So who is it going to be that's going to create that emotional attachment to using this vehicle, being the product, service, features, whatever of the company, using that vehicle to acquire the destination that's driving all their emotional decisions right now to buy out of pain? Sales reps think that people, a lot of the time, prospects buy on the features and the benefits, but they're actually buying to get out of pain. So they're missing the whole aspect of creating this mental buy-in from the prospect. That happens before the prospect ever says yes at the end of the sales call. You have to create a mental buy-in from the prospect, because then they know they have the confidence that it can actually, the outcome will actually take place. We're in a very skeptic market right now. Depending on what you're selling, some markets and industries are even more skeptical, like the high ticket selling industry, where it's high ticket courses, coaches, done for you product services. That's the most skeptical buyer. So if you're not giving them the confidence to know that you can deliver the thing that you say you can, based on also having them feel all the things that they want to be feeling if they get to their destination, if you can't leverage any of that, it's going to be so much harder to get their mental buy-in and confidence to know you are the right person to buy from versus, you know, Joe down the street. This next thing kills me, okay? This next thing I see happen all the time, like sales reps using scripts. The presentation or the conversation or the pitch, however you're doing it, feels very canned. It feels very like cookie cutter, like it's the same every single time. You have to get really good at memorizing whatever script you're using, because you should use a script, in my opinion, from whatever sales trainer you get it from. Like, we have one as well. I'll put it in the description of the comments. But the whole point of a script is to be able to have a framework to follow and understand why you're asking certain questions in the script. So this way it makes sense to know when to maybe hop around or not, or when something's meant to be asked in a sequence that's known as a question stack, and to make sure that you can pivot away from that when you need to. This way it feels custom to the prospect. The next thing I see go wrong all the time, and mostly with newer sales reps, is going to be the confidence a sales rep has. Because a lot of the time, the product, the service, the thing that you're selling, especially if you're selling in like the tech world or the high ticket service world or high ticket coaching, things of that nature, these types of things cost thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're typically the transactions done over the phone, right? Sometimes you'll never even meet that person. And so a sales rep a lot of time will sell like the money's coming out of their pocket. So even a few $1,000s will seem like a lot of money if you're a sales rep on food stamps, and this is the only job you can get because you don't have any type of college education or any other background besides maybe waiting tables or something, which is fine. It doesn't matter what your background is. What matters is that you're playing the game with the confidence of knowing that you are your future self. You are the abundant version of yourself. This way everyone you talk to is a millionaire, right? It doesn't matter what they actually are. In your mind, it's like everyone's got boatloads of cash and they're trying to spend it. They're just trying to justify who to spend it with. And when you're a sales rep that goes in with that mentality, everyone's a buyer, right? But a lot of sales reps go in shaky, unconfident because they feel like they're not in an authoritative position because maybe they're not abundant yet. And so you need to act as if when you're a sales rep, so this way you go in confident, because even if you don't even fully understand the product or service or whatever it is you're selling, confidence closes. You'll notice in a lot of my sales calls, because I didn't know the thing I was selling, and a lot of the calls that I upload onto YouTube, I still go unconfident, right? And that's what allows me to say that sometimes the most ridiculous things in a sales call, because I'm just confident in who I am, and I'm confident in knowing that if I don't have an answer today, or I don't understand something today, I will get the answer, and then I will give you the answer. And if you want to do business with a guy like that, then I'm your guy, right? So a lot of sales reps try to like sugarcoat it and beat around the bush or lie and do all these things to try to act like they know everything. But it's like, you don't need to act like you know everything, okay? Acting like you know everything makes you a commodity, makes you like everybody else. So that makes you less special, and I'm less interested in buying from you now. So what I'm gonna give you right now to kind of close this out is I wanna give you the keys to a psychologically sound sales pitch, presentation, whatever you wanna call it. You need to know your audience and meet them where they're at. Match their energy, so this way you could then control the flow of the energy, but that starts with meeting them where they are. Number 2, you need to use storytelling, or as I like to say, story selling. This is gonna help you show the prospect that their problem can be solved with your offer, and then you're gonna be able to control the narrative by creating a bridge between the story of somebody that is like them, that has been through a similar situation, that solved their problem using your thing just like they did. So now they can see that there's common ground. Third, you need to trigger emotion. You've got to widen the gap in the sales call. You've got to turn the mountain into a molehill. I think that's the saying, right? Basically, you're taking something that seems like a small thing and you're making it a huge deal. So this way the prospect can see and justify a higher price point because you've increased the perceived value and you've widened the gap on what was a tiny pain, tiny problem into a big pain, a big problem. So this is gonna help the buyer increase perceived value of what you're offering to solve the problem, and they're gonna see it's actually a big problem that needs solving faster than they initially thought it did. Next is you need to pre-handle objections. I see this happen all the time where a lot of sales reps work on objection handling, which is great. You know, you do wanna be equipped with certain responses and what you could say when you get into those sticky situations, which I do a lot on my Instagram. You can actually look me up at official Robb Quinn, or just click the links in the description, go to my Instagram, post those all the time. But when it comes to defusing objections or pre-handling objections, you want to do that in the discovery process. So you want to make sure everything that gets brought up or anything that is unpacked within the discovery process, that you're turning each of those things into non-issues. The only reason those things would stop the buyer from wanting to buy is because they see it as an issue or a barrier of entry from being able to start today, thus becoming what we refer to as a smokescreen or an excuse, stopping the buyer from buying. So they're selling themselves out of the deal by being able to use their excuses as a scapegoat. And lastly, Micro closes. You got to add in micro closes. Asking the small confirmation questions, or referred to as tie downs, to confirm the prospect is serious about this. Yes, they want to do this. Yes, they want to do it today. So you can see they have the intent, the finance, desire, the urgency to where they do actually want to do this today. You need to get the yeses from them. Okay? It's the story around what people believe is not true until they themselves say it's true. You could tell somebody the grass is green and the sky is blue, but if they believe the alternative, if they believe that the grass is blue and the sky is green, you could shout at them till you're blue in the face. They don't believe what you're telling them, right? So they have to say that the sky is blue and the grass is green in order for it to be true. That's why we want to get the prospect to constantly say yes over and over again, because it then becomes true to them. So in conclusion, the perfect sales presentation or sales call is not about you, the sales rep. It is about the prospect. If you can speak to their pain better than they can explain it to you, you will get the sale. You need to build genuine rapport through active listening. Use a lot of future pacing so they can see, within 30 days of getting started, within 1 year after getting started, within the first week of getting started, XYZ is gonna happen. You gotta do a lot of future pacing so they can also be living in the future while you're explaining to them the features and benefits of your solution and how the solution is gonna work today to get them that future. And be clear with deliverables. If you are lacking clarity in the process of how your deliverables are going to get them to the outcome, a confused buyer always says no. So you want to make sure you are very clear about your deliverables and make it sound simple. Simple is easy, and people believe that easy things are what's good for them to be able to make a decision faster because they understand it. For your next sales call, you want to make sure, know your audience, tell a story, trigger emotion, solve their problem, keep it simple and structured. The best closers don't pitch harder and hard close. They sell smarter through active listening and letting the buyer sell themselves into the close. What is your biggest struggle when it comes to the actual sales call? Let me know down in the comments. I might make separate videos for those, and I go down in the comments myself and I reply to all of them myself. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you want to see future videos coming out of me doing trainings similar to this or things that we see in the comments. Until next time.